Hello, this is Amazon author of the book of Light, Hope, and Peace, Jeffrey Newport. It's a spiritual book for all beliefs. And I'm also a singer-songwriter, but I wanted to make an audio, I don't know what you call this, audio video. In other words, you don't see nothing, but it's just me talking. And I just wanted to explain for a few minutes about some of the videos I've been putting on YouTube. Like I say, I was on a spiritual quest. I felt like I attained oneness with God. What they call enlightenment. I mean, I used to meditate all night long until the sun would come up. And yeah, I finally felt like I attained enlightenment. So I'm an enlightened spiritual meditation master. I was on a spiritual quest. And that's the main reason I sort of become like a hermit monk. And yeah, I'd still play a little bit every now and then, but for the most part, I quit dating and everything. Living off of pension in the mountains of Tennessee. One preacher said, "I ain't seen you in a while, Jeffrey. What happened to you?" And I said, "Well, I've been on the mountain with God." And he said, "What mountain is that, Jeffrey?" And I said, "Tunnel Hill," because that's the name of the road I live on. Anyway, trying to make a long story short, which I talk a little bit about this. At one point, I felt that I actually was a monk, more or less, but I felt like music was beneath me, and the commonology, or the common practice of marriage, and I just felt like I was above it all. Not to sound arrogant, I was just on a very deep surrender to God. And then at some point, God told me, "You need to come down from the mountain and start dating and start playing music." So I did. I did the dating part, but it took me a while to realize that the Timeship project that I actually started with Chris Hicks more than 30 years ago, some of these songs, most of them I haven't played in 30 years. So I thought I could just, God wants me to continue to finish the Timeship project that we started. And I might put this on my lecture list on YouTube at Jeffrey Newport 379, because it is kind of a spiritual, but it's mostly related to music. So in other words, I felt the need to come down from the mountain, you might say, and share my knowledge with the people, my inspiration. And it was always there. It's just that I refined it, like through meditation practice. And I meditate every day. But anyway, I'm trying to make this short before it cuts me off, because I'm running out of data. But to make a long story short, I felt called to finish the Timeship album, but I thought I could just sit down and just play these songs, even though I haven't played them in 30 years. And so it's going to take, plus I had laryngitis when I was in Florida, so it's going to take a while to get all this going again. And some of this stuff that I had forgotten, like you've got to train your voice, you've got to warm it up, you've got to walk around. You may have to rest before you sing or before you go to band practice or whatever. Rest and meditate, and then walk around a little bit after your rest. It's almost like you have to rest, and you have to drink water. There's certain things you got to do without going into details. So I got to remember to learn to do all this again to get my vocals right, plus practice, plus I'm recovering from laryngitis. So this is not the finished project. I mean, sometimes I can hit it just right, but even on my own songs, I got to practice. So this is it's like a video diary of the progress of getting it back, you might say.